All right. Wrinkly shirt on, ready to go and address this kind of thing. I've been tagged in multiple times, but I guess to jump right into the story, what happened is Barnes and Noble, they for these quote unquote these diversity editions is what they're calling them, right? But what they're doing for Black History Month, they basically had, classic stories and books. They are putting new covers on them, and it's just new cover art with tokenized versions of this, of the characters that exist in the book. So the funny thing is what this CNN article is pointing to, because yes, I saw this a lot. People that were tweeting saying, they were upset, right? Because the people that are in the books are still the same, white characters and so forth. All it is just, again, they just changed the art to make these characters white. They're still white. Just the art is Black characters, right? And like, you got people talking about, like she says, can you imagine a young Black girl seeing a cover with someone who looks like her, but then finds nothing that reflects her in the pages, no Black girls at all? That's more than a bait and switch that's harmful. Well, again, in some of these cases, they might not even have any artwork, I'd imagine, in some of these books, or any artwork in the first place. Nonetheless, it looks like just the cover, but yeah, I guess if some of these are more graphic novel based, maybe they do have the same characters in and they're just white. This is why it's funny to me, because as one of these people said, like, they said that money had meetings and put a lot of energy and money into creating covers featuring Black people in books with the same old stories, instead of promoting books written by Black authors and featuring Black characters. You get what you deserve. I've been on my channel for a long time talking about the tokenizing of characters. The same, dare I say, people, right? Familiar faces who either don't, and I'm not saying they have to address every situation, but when you see, like, let's say the tokenizing in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, where you have the race swapped version of characters, and it's funny, you want to talk about books, like you got your little tokenized Black Canary in the New Birds of Prey. In the book, she's not going to be Black. You know what I'm saying? It could be for your beloved, you're standing over Iris West. Snap, yes, Queen Slay. Iris West is white and redhead in the comic book. So it's a similar thing. Yet it's kind of weird when you kind of make just a slight change to the same theme and the same idea, then it becomes an issue, right? And this is what happens. Major companies, big companies, anytime these months come around, they have their little gimmicks to try to capitalize on it. And that's what they do. This time, tokenized covers or tokenized characters on covers of classic books, right? Which is, again, it's not that much different from what you see, where you may see a character pop up in a Marvel Cinematic Universe, and then you pick up the book, and that character's white because they tokenized them, right? So it's not necessarily the cover of a book, and the person in the book is like, that's not really what you're dealing with, but there is that idea of tokenizing. And now everybody's talking about, well, you could promote Black characters and what it is. Dude, I've been saying this for I don't know how long, and all these rascals want to sit up here and say that something's wrong with me, and those rascals are among so many different races, white, Black, doesn't matter, where they think that this is something that is necessary. Oh, well, the characters were created back there, so you got to change them now. I got to get with the times. Like, all this idiocy when it comes to justification of these goofy versions of the characters, right? And I'm always saying, why don't we just utilize the black characters that you have that exist? And then it's a problem with me, right? I hate myself, all kinds of nonsense they say. And now you have a major book, this store company, if you will, doing this same idea, right? Now they got a problem, right? It's now they got an issue, and I think it's just a new thing to maybe be outraged at and be upset at. Now I want to be clear: the concept is corny, right? But the reason why they think that that's okay is because, dude, a lot of you guys been hyping up the tokenizing of the characters that exists in, let's say, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Certainly when we talk about comic books or any really, I know in other fandoms they're dealing with that, where you're starting to see race swapped and gender swapped and all these swapped versions of the same characters. You know what I mean? And so it's not just comic books that are dealing with it. A lot of other fandoms are dealing with it. But you see that, and then people don't really, they justify it because, dare I say, I just had all these debates on this channel, right? Dare I say something against it? They're like, I hate myself, or I'm catering to white folks. And I'm like, now you guys are talking about promote the black characters with, featuring black characters, books featuring black characters. What have I been saying for I don't know how long? What have I been saying for I don't know how long, huh? But it's an appeal to that approach. That's why they did it. As corny as it is, whack as it is, that's why they did it. Because in other aspects, you're going to champion this, right? And that lack of consistency there is why people are approaching it like that, and they're going to try to take advantage of this idea. And it backfired, right? And I'm not saying that it wasn't stupid, because it was. It's 100% stupid. Why they did it, I have no idea. Well, I take it back. I know exactly why they did it. I'm just saying that I feel like if I'm part of the team, I could have said that, just this could go one or two different ways, obviously. And with culture, it can go right, it can go left. I don't think you should do it either way, though. It's not creative, right? But here you are. The way I see it, you get what you deserve. Y'all get mad at Barnes & Nobles all y'all want. When y'all ready to come be consistent on this idea of tokenizing characters, when y'all ready to be consistent with the idea of promotion of characters instead of like, let's say, black characters, instead of promoting the tokenizing and the race swaps and the gender swaps and making every excuse in the book. And if you want those excuses, just look at my videos on the topic. When you're ready to be consistent, over here at Young River 59, we've been talking about it. We've been talking about the characters we'd like to see, going through encyclopedias, Marvel encyclopedias, DC official encyclopedias, talking about black characters, making videos, speaking against the laziness, because, again, this is what happens. It's funny that one person, and I would love to know how she feels about some of the characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because you want to talk about, imagine some little girl reading this or looking at this and seeing that there's somebody else in the book, or they see her, right? I wonder how they feel about the comics, because the characters that exist, like when you talk about the direct tokenizing, like the Heimdalls and the Valkyries of the world, Baron or as such, those characters are white. You know what I mean? In the comic books, you see what I'm saying? Or whatever new, whatever. It's a new character, definitely with DC now. It's new, got Black Canary now. You got these uber weird versions of the characters that exist. You know what I mean? So I would love to hear their perspective on that. And I would love to hear how they see that, because it's like, okay, hey, I saw this character. I saw Iris and Flash, right? And then you pick up a Flash book and you see Iris is white and redhead. Is that like traumatizing to the girl? And again, some of this does stem from this idiotic idea that people have to, quote unquote, see themselves, and you limit these kids their agency, and that's how they learn this. That's how they pick up the stupid trait. When they limit themselves to being their race, right? So you say, they gotta see themselves, right? That's something that you fools taught them. That's not anything they cared about or anything. That's something that y'all taught them in terms of they gotta put more value or more stock in the characters that are the same, skin tone as them. I obviously don't hold that position at all. My favorite character right now, for example, Batman as an adult, is my favorite character. He's white, and growing up was Flash. Yet I do have some of my favorite characters are black characters. You know what I mean? So it's not to limit the agency, but you know, I do understand why you would want to create other characters. Definitely if you're trying to play on the whole American culture. I understand the concept of having characters exist within whatever comic book universe that are obviously not right, because there's a lot of not white people that are around, right? You can create them to depict that. Now, I don't think it's fair to limit people's ability to relate to the character or like the character or see themselves. I think that's a very toxic, dare I say, use that term, toxic thing to teach young folk, because again, you are acting as if they have zero agency and you are limiting their ability to even relate to it. That really sort of stimulates this concept of racism, but you are perpetuating this idea that in order for them to quote unquote see themselves, i.e. relate, they have to see the character as the same color. There's so many people, black folks that I don't relate to, you know, white folks that I do relate to and vice versa. So many black folks that I relate to, white folks that I don't relate to, because culture, that's how it works. You know what I mean? Definitely when you're moving about in America, you have to kind of, depending on where you are, definitely in areas like where I'm at, where there's no way that I can avoid really talking and conversing and having to have some sort of cordial relationship with people that are not black. You know what I mean? And what they do is perpetuate that idea, and I had to address that. That's kind of aside from the main point of the video, but I had to address that because that's still a toxic idea. I get the idea of being against tokenism, because I'm against it. Tokenizing of characters, you know, this sort of race-swapped version of characters on covers, that's lousy, but the reasoning is still silly, right? That they have is still stupid nonetheless. If you're going to limit it to imagine some little girl, and no, that's not why it's stupid, right? That has nothing to do with it, right? Well, it's stupid because it's lazy and it's a clear play on you guys' emotional, you know, race, on your approach to race and the concept of it, and you're clinging to it, and they're trying to capitalize on it, right? That's why they tokenize the characters, right? That's why they absolutely get out there and purposely race change characters or give you palette swap versions of the characters, let's say in the books, you know, where the main character is this, you know who, you know, Spider-Man is and Peter Parker, but they give you a little token bone of Miles Morales. Oh, now you got a black or, you know, half black version of him. You know what I'm saying? Just stop. But when you're ready to be consistent on the issue, over at Young Root 59,